Hi, this is Bill from MessickStove on YouTube and MessickStove.com. I'm going to do another video on the 110, and why not? The 110 is a great product, a great stove, and this one's looking a little bare, so I do apologize for that. It's looking a little naked. We're going to need to dress it up here a little bit, but that's a good thing because you're going to get to see what it looks like without its sides on. And the front, of course, continues to look the way it does. The sides, okay, have little fins on them. All right. The 160 has this stove, these fins as well. So does the 75. You just don't see the 75 or the 110s because of the skirting on it. And to show you that, there's a 110 with the skirting on it. Okay. The sides. Okay. This is the finished sides. That's the finished back, okay, and that spot down there in the middle, of course, is for your optional blower if you want a blower. And of course, this is what controls your temperature. We're going to go over that in a little bit. I just wanted to show you what the unfinished side of the 110 looks like. 110, great product, great stove. Like I said, they're all handmade, and here's the side on the other side here. You got your fins, and they do several things, of course. They also help strengthen the steel a little bit. They also help cool the steel a little bit, and they also help pull off some heat. So it's a combination of things that really happen in the process, but it's the naked 110, if you want to call it. And I did leave the doors on, which they will be coming off here shortly. And just want to show you, do apologize if it's the stove, the camera's shaking a little bit. I'm sorry, not the stove, but the camera. And got a lot going on here. We're trying to get these videos done and get things taken care of here as well. So the MessickStove, we're always in the process of working with the stoves and working with our customers. Now this is the back, of course. Also the fins, okay. And there's your air intake. Now I call it the critter cage on there, if you want to call it. Not quite a cage, but a quitter. No, we don't have no quitters. We don't believe in that. We don't support that. But no one's a quitter. Everybody's working pretty hard trying to make things happen. So this is a critter cage on there, or wire to keep the mice and different things from out. Not saying you have mice. I know I said this in other videos, but a lot of people have these in shops and different places, and you don't want a mouse trying to get up inside the stove there or anything else. And that's another fact that we probably should talk about. If you do have these in a barn or garage where there is a possibility of you bringing wood in and bringing mice in as well, or the shop just happens to be open to the environment, and we know if you live in the woods, most likely, and you're burning a wood stove, that Mother Nature and has plenty of mice for us. So just make sure you check. There's a little attachment that goes on there, and just make sure you check that. Make sure a mouse didn't build a nest in there. Not saying if you have mice that's a bad thing, but like I said, we're in the country, and most people in the country, when it gets cold, mice want to come in. So that's just the way it is, and it doesn't matter if you have a shop, or hopefully your home doesn't have them, but some shops it is what it is. So here's your little flap, okay, that connects on there. I apologize, I'm trying to, okay, this will control, this doesn't control, but this will allow air in and also close off to keep the air out. Now if you notice, this one has a little gap in it. Let's see if I can get it out here. A little gap, right? And that's the set screw on there. We want to have that set so there is a little bit of a gap on in between there. Now this one might be a little much of a gap. So I want to probably, let me tone her down a little bit. This is if you're burning wood, you want to make sure you have a little bit of a gap, 1/16. In some cases maybe an 1/8, but we can go over that process as well. So this is the 110 stove. without the skirting on it, and very basic on the outside. Now I'm pretty sure the ladies especially probably wouldn't like this idea, so we'll go ahead and show you the finished product. And that's the 110. Now it looks a lot better. Okay, really dresses it up, and now it actually doesn't just look good. We're actually creating a function. I'm wiping some of this little dirt off. I'm always trying to keep things clean here. The holes in here, okay, are letting the heat come out of the top, of course. And there's also a little space at the top. Okay, at the bottom, get to the bottom, my hand, okay, my fingers can go up in there. So what happens is, with this whole concept, we're gonna have holes around the sides. We have a hole that comes out the top with a lip on it. Okay, now that lip will allow the heat to come out and force it up. We're trying to, the concept when we have heat coming out of the tubes too, but we're talking about the skirting right now. The whole concept is to get the heat's going to rise, and we want to get the heat to come up off the top of the stove and not just out and around. As you can see, the naked 110 over there is without the sides on it, is the heat would actually be radiating off the sides and the back, and because of that, we're also with the clearances for combustibles would also have to change. And over here we have the side on here. Now this gives us a shorter clearance. Like I said, we get off the back will be 24 inches, and off the sides are 24 inches with the 110. Okay, and if we took the sides off, it would probably have to be a little more at that point. So there's the sides, the other side, the left side, you can see little fins as well. Now this one actually has the ash handle coming through. Okay, you see a little hole down there. But the whole concept is, this stove is running, heat's coming off, the heat's going to get trapped. When it comes off, it's going to hit this sheet metal, okay, and it's going to want to rise, of course, because it's heat, and then as it rises, it's going to turn around and actually come out, okay, the top, and that's what we want. And the same thing off the top of the stove, heat's going to rise off of here, heat's going to come out of the circulator tubes, which you probably already know about these. If you don't, I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. They're tubes that go through the body of the stove. We're not going to be able to see them if I open the stove up, but there's a cast iron wall in there, and what happens is, on the other side of those cast iron walls is a space, and then the tubes are there, and there's a little bit of space on the other side of that steel. So, and there's space between the tubes, of course. So your heat's actually getting trapped inside of the tubes. Okay, the air inside of these are getting heated, and not necessarily trapped per se. I do apologize, but it's and the heat's going to come out of the tubes. As the heat starts rising out of the tubes, okay, then it's going to create a circulation. That's why they call them circulator tubes. And what happens is, in the bottom of the stove, I probably can, let's see if I can get a shot of that underneath the stove. Okay, there we go. So trying to get the lighting right so you guys can see, but there's the tubes there. Okay, do a shot down there. Whoops, there's some more tubes. And basically what they're going to do is, when heat rises, it creates a draw on the bottom, like sucking through a straw basically, and it's going to pull that cold air up through the bottom of the tubes now. And whoops, do apologize. When I pull the air up through the bottom of the tubes, it's going to pull the cool air off the floor, of course, and it's going to come out the top tubes. Okay, and that's what we want. And this is how the 110 stove starts to rob the fuel that you're using of its heat. So when you're running the 110 stove, let's say you have, I put a temperature gauge here on the side, and the reason I do that, just wanted to show you guys, because I tell customers this, and I want to make sure they understand, is that on the 110 stove, you can notice there's really nothing there to set, you know, to struck the temperature there. Okay, and just wanted to show you that, and that's where I like to put the gauge at. If you put the gauge above the ceiling part, then you're not going to get an accurate reading on it. And if you put, you know, look at my mug here probably, at the bottom here, and there's brick there, fire brick, so you're not going to get an accurate reading there too. I do apologize for swinging the camera around. And you can't put temperature gauge here because it's on the other side, and you probably won't get more accurate reading. So the most accurate reading is going to be somewhere here on the side of that 110 stove. And when you do that, okay, we'll be able to get a more accurate reading. So if you're running this stove at 400 degrees, okay, the exhaust going out with your stove pipe, if you measure it up, you don't want to measure too close to the stove itself, because heat's going to radiate up the stove pipe. Okay, and as it radiates up the stove pipe, we're going to it's going to be it's inaccurate to measure there. And so let's just say like 18 inches or even 2 foot up, and measure the exhaust at that point, or measure it even at the wall, hopefully, if it's 2 foot or a little bit more. And you'll realize that 400 degrees, this stove would only, exhaust would only probably be like 110 degrees. So very impressive. I think you'll be really happy with that for energy saving purposes. Also, like I said, this is the 110 stove, clothed. I guess we should say that, since we're calling the other one naked. And great product. Just want to show you the outside in this particular video, and go over little bits and pieces of the stove. But we're going to have another video going over some of the inside details of the stove as well. And just take another look at the stripped down or the naked version of the 110. And great product. And if you notice also that there is a lip here, okay, and the lip is when you put that sheet metal on it, so you'll have at least that 1.5 inches. Matter of fact, let's do this. Carrying the tape measure, so it's about 2 inches. So you get about 2 inches of space on there. The back doesn't have to be as wide, because we're going to have that skirting in there. We want that skirt to force the air to the top, but we got about 2 inches all the way around the two sides, and the back doesn't require a whole lot, so we're in good shape. And again, this is the naked version of the 110 stove of DS Machines, and I'm not showing you this to discourage you from the looks. I mean, if you first look at this and think, well, I don't want that in my living room, or I don't want that in my house, it's not to do that. I mean, this is to show you what looks like kind of under the hood, if you want to call it, or underneath the skirting, and get a concept and what's going on. Like I said, and that's the finished product there. Like I said, that looks really, really nice with the sides on it. So, but the sides also is a purpose of showing you that, is to let you know how the stove works, what's the concept of it, and what's really going on behind the scenes. Because, you know, just seeing the stove, just seeing a photo, or just seeing someone talk about the product is not always enough, and at least in my case. And I like details. I want to know everything about it. I want to know the insides, the outsides. I want to know why it does this or what does that, and what's the purpose of this and what's the purpose of that. So that's what I do on the videos. I make sure I try to get that to you. So I do apologize for being long-winded. I do try to get as much as I can out there, and as I'm talking, I try to keep adding different things to it. So, but I have some more videos coming up here with the 110 stove. Check those out as well, and hopefully they'll all be uploaded around the same time. And again, this is Bill from MessickStove, and on YouTube, and MessickStove.com. The EnergyMax 110 stove by DNS Machines, and they go by DS Stoves now, and there's no branding of the name. So great products. If you just give us a call, MessickStove.com. Check us out. Telephone numbers on there. Contact us. Even get on our website. There's some quote forms. Fill those quote forms out. Give us the information. When we quote you a stove, it's not just trying to quote you a stove to make a sale, by the way. I just want you to understand that. I've been saying fill out the quote form and send it to us. And the quote form has quite a bit of information on it, and the information we're using to not just to make sure that, let's say you want you're interested in the 110 stove here, and you send some information to me, and then you answer the questions in the form, the quote there, and I get the information. I say, and you say you really want the 110, and you're going to use it to heat your home, and you want to put it in a basement, and then I do the calculation. You tell me the square footage, and let's say the 110 is just a tad small. And under your situation, I go over the information. I go what kind of, about your insulation, how, what your house is laid out, how different things on. And I'll say, look, the 110 is a great product. You want the 110, fine. But we suggest to go with the 160. The 160 would actually better suit your needs. Well, you're like, well, I don't like the looks of the 160. I like the looks of the 110. I've seen your videos on the 110, really like it. I've seen the one on 160, and I don't like it. That's going to be your choice at that time. We're going to recommend to you what we feel is going to be best for your situation. Now, you're asking us our professional opinion. You're asking us to help you out with that situation, and that's what we're trying to do. So just understand that when we do that, that we're not trying to get you to spend more money because we took you to a bigger stove. And there's not much difference between the two models, the 110 and the 160, in cost-wise. So don't take it that way. It's not what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that you're happy with your stove, and not just happy with the stove, but you're happy with the ability of the stove to heat your home. And where we come from here at MessickStove is that we make sure that we want to heat our homes and garages and buildings, and we want to make sure we put the right unit and the right size unit in there without actually overheating the stove or becoming a slave to it. If you don't have a big enough stove, you become a slave to it, and then people, it gets too cold, they'll actually try to run them harder, and then they can have some issues of trying to you can overheat just about any stove that's manufactured, by the way. The DS stoves have been really good about it. You can get a lot of heat out of them without trying to really overheat them. So it's very impressive. So just remember that. Give us a check us out on MessickStove.com. Fill out the quote form, and we're going to try to guide you in the right direction. And if the 110 stove is what you want, and for the purpose you want it for, go ahead and we'll gladly sell you the 110. If we feel that the 110 may be a little shy or a little too much, we'll let you know one way or the other. And like I said, it's still your choice, though. We're not going to try to twist your arm, but at the same time, we are going to try to steer you in the right direction, because the last thing we want to do is have one of our customers from MessickStove call us back and say, hey, look, that stove didn't quite do it. Maybe I should have went with the next size up. And that's what we're here for. We're here to keep you from spending your money twice, and make sure you spend your money once on the great product and the right product. So, and if you call us back and say, hey, I want to buy a second stove, we'll be gladly sell you a second stove. If you want one for your garage, or you have another spot in the house, if you're a large house. So we don't mind selling you a couple of different stoves if you want as well, but we want to make sure we steer you in the right direction. And a lot of customers buy one for their house and buy one for their garage. So MessickStove.com here on YouTube. MessickStove on YouTube and MessickStove.com. Give us a check us out on our website. And again, I'll do a little pan of view of the naked version or the unskirted version of the 110. Sorry for the long-windedness, and want to get as much information as we can out to you, and see if I can get a shot of both of these in here at the same time. And we have the naked 110, and we also have the skirted version, the unskirted, and then the skirted. Again, MessickStove on YouTube, MessickStove.com. Check us out, MessickStove.com, and we'll go from there. Give us a call. Thank you.